It is January the 14th, 2021. My name is Andy, and this is the Minorcan Mullet Report from the Golden Ray Rec Site. Made it out a little early today to the rec site, and what a wonderful sight it was to see sunlight. It's been a few days since we have seen the sun out on the site, and it's been dark and gloomy, and the sunshine was certainly a welcome sight. Now, we didn't see any movement today at the VB 10,000, either through any of the gantry or nor did we see the machine itself move towards the Golden Ray. And we kind of figured this wasn't going to happen when we got out to the site, because we did see the dive boats were still working at the just right underneath the keel of the Golden Ray. Assuming they have divers down, still working on those underwater operations, trying to get those holes finished that are supposed to help with the drainage, running out some of the sediment, that additional weight they're trying to get rid of as they lift the section, so they're not really having to break the surface of the water with all that weight in the section as it comes up. We know that this section is going to contain the engine, so there is going to be some additional weight probably associated with this section. And maybe one of the viewers pointed out on the channel comments, it may be that is a little off kilter, because a lot of that weight now from that massive engine is going to be kind of concentrated over on that what has become side of the ship now. So it should be an interesting lift when it happens and it actually does get cut and they get ready to pick it up. Up on top of the ship, we saw some workers up there, some of the guys that have been entertaining us with some of the high wire acts. Looks like they were probably up doing some pre-drilling as well. But we did notice those guys up there on top of the ship, and wanted to say hello to those guys today. Pretty high view from up there. We went around to the south side and got a couple shots over there looking back at the ship. And of course we see the bow section that's gone, the first section that was removed from the Golden Ray with the first cut. It is opened up there. We still see that cargo of vehicles kind of stacked in there and waiting for their turn to be loaded on a barge and shipped away. Now here we see the dive boat still in position underneath the keel of the Golden Ray. That's what those vessels there are doing. Hoping the dive operations get finished up and we're able to see the VB 10,000 move back over the Golden Ray and get rigged and ready to start cutting again, starting on that third cut over that massive engine. Now, as we got around on this view is from the east side of the site, offshore, if you will, coming back around. We got to see something that we've seen one time before, and that's the environmental crews were pulling the ends of the environmental barrier. It's what we've typically called the funnel, where everything kind of forms a V, and this floating part of the oil boom containment system for that environmental barrier was being pulled up onto the Weeks 291 barge. The crews were, looks like they were stretching them out on the barge and cleaning them. I'm sure that's something that has to happen periodically just to get marine growth that typically will, in these waters, this temperate water, barnacles, marine grass, just all kinds of stuff will adhere to just about anything and start to grow. So we got a sight of these guys that were actively engaged in that today. You could see the system being towed over in a few of these shots and then being hauled up onto that barge with what appeared to be a big winch system that they have. And I'm sure that we didn't stay for to see it being redeployed, but I'm sure it went up really easy and really quick, and I'm sure that they got it cleaned off and back in the water. This section, the tide was kind of moving out at the time that we were there, and so they had the west side of this thing of the environmental barrier opened up. Of course, there would be nothing on that end. Everything would have been all at the east end for the outgoing tide, and this another part of the maintenance that's taking place during this maintenance time they have in between cuts. Maybe this is hopefully one of the last things they had to do. We're really anticipating getting the VB moved back over the ship and hopefully cutting resuming. It's got to be happening pretty soon. Again, we don't see the maintenance barge underneath the VB 10,000. It's been a couple days now since we've seen it moved away, and that's generally a pretty good indicator that they have gotten everything squared away that they need to on the rig itself. And now it looks like they're still waiting on getting some of the dive operations complete, maybe some of the topside stuff done before they move into position and begin rigging up for that third cut. And we want to leave you with this today. We spotted this piece of debris up on oyster bed on our way out. So we got the fish gaff and we recovered this thing. I know they asked us not to do that, but we were afraid that the tide was going to come in and maybe wash this piece away. So we went ahead and recovered it. Let's take a look at it. We did the online report over the smartphone, told them where it was at our marina, a little bit of brief information, and that piece was picked up this afternoon. So the system works very well, and the guys were out and they recovered that piece, maybe an air oil separator. That's kind of what we maybe thought it was, and maybe a piece off the ship and not a vehicle. But that's all we have for today. Hey, we'll ask if you haven't done it yet, go ahead and subscribe, send us some comments, and most of all, you guys stay safe out there.